trying to burrow closer toward Aurelia. Lilian's expression changed instantly, because the reaction was stronger than before. Aurelia's buried bloodline was waking up. Before Lilian could realize too much, I moved, and struck Aurelia sharply across the shoulder with the silver star. She crashed hard against the stone steps. That afternoon, the bone wells of Morvane Academy tolled 9 times. The hunting trial had officially begun. It was the first selection ceremony after the Phoenix heir came of age, and the first step toward choosing the next ruler of Morvane. While I lay cut open and half dead behind the white curtains, my cousin Lilian stole my egg and left me hers. I heard everything. My hearing had always been sharper than anyone knew. Lilian's husband was nothing more than a minor academy official, a bloodline the sacred flame would never choose. She believed my husband's blood would still be stronger than an official. That was why she switched the eggs, while I lay screaming on the table, too weak to move. What she never realized was, what decides a true phoenix was never some powerful man. My old husband's blood had already begun to fade long before either child was born. I was the one who carried the ancient phoenix blood of my house. If I ever had a child, the sacred flame would choose that child above all others. But the child inside my egg was never my husband's. That egg would become something far more dangerous than either of us could have imagined. Unexpectedly, I survived the bleeding. When the 2 eggs were finally delivered, they looked almost identical beneath the blood and firelight. I could not expose my cousin's dark secret. If I did, Lilian would destroy the egg she stole before it ever hatched. So I raised Lilian's egg myself. Day after day, I fed her with my own milk, held her through fevers, taught her how to control fire with my own hands. And over 17 years, Pearl grew into something dazzling. But it could not change what the child truly was. Meanwhile, beneath Lilian's roof, my real daughter, Aurelia, was raised like something shameful. From the moment she hatched, Lilian fed her suppresses meant to bury unstable phoenix blood. The medicines could not erase true bloodlines, only weaken them. So my daughter became a grey sparrow no one feared. The mornings at Morvane Academy were always drowned in cold mist. Aurelia knelt silently beneath the training platform, iron chains wrapped around her wrists and throat. Her grey hair was damp from the cold, fingers already numb against the stone floor. Pearl stood at the center of the training courtyard while golden red phoenix flames bloomed beautifully from her fingertips. The noble students surrounding the platform whispered in admiration.
And Mr. Drace, she's flawless.
The sacred flame will definitely choose her.
Pearl immediately turned towards me, waiting for praise.
Mother, was that good enough?
I looked at the flames behind her, too bright, too hungry. Blood Rowan was feeding again. Pearl's smile faltered for only a second before she obediently raised her hand and summoned the flames once again. Below the platform, Aurelia knelt silently in chains. Her grey hair clung damply to her face, fingers already numb from the freezing stone beneath her knees. Lilian had dragged her there personally. Not for punishment, for observation. I understood that immediately, because beneath the faint purple tint under Lilian's nails, something small moved slowly beneath her skin. Blood Rowan, a forbidden parasite from the Eastern Court. It did not create phoenix fire. It fed on it. For 18 years, the creature had been stealing flame from one child and feeding it into another.
Cousin, you're far too harsh on Pearl. If she were my daughter, I would never let her suffer like this.
That's exactly why she could never be yours.
For a brief second, something dark flashed across Lilian's face. Then she laughed softly and walked toward Aurelia.
And you! Keep your head down, little rat.
Yes, my lady.
Trying to burrow closer toward Aurelia. Lilian's expression changed instantly, because the reaction was stronger than before. Aurelia's buried bloodline was waking up. Before Lilian could realize too much, I moved, and struck Aurelia sharply across the shoulder with the silver star. She crashed hard against the stone steps, slipping out of Lilian's reach. The Blood Rowan immediately calmed. Aurelia bit back a cry of pain, blood slowly gathering at the corner of her mouth.
You punish her more harshly every year.
Lilian looked at me strangely. Rested the silver staff lightly against the ground.
She learns slowly. As a mother, why you give up teaching her?
But my eyes never left the parasite beneath Lilian's skin, because for the first time in 18 years, Blood Rowan had almost failed to obey.
Tonight, my husband will officially announce the beginning of the heir trial, and once the sacred flame begins choosing heirs...
I glanced briefly toward Aurelia kneeling beneath the platform. That evening, Morvane Academy held its annual winter banquet. My husband had grown too weak to leave his chambers, so I sat alone at the center of the long black table beneath the bone chandeliers, representing the Morvane bloodline in his place. Everyone understood what that meant. Soon, the heir trial will begin, and the next ruler of Morvana would finally be chosen. Lilian was more attentive than usual that night, personally arranging every dish in front of Pearl as though she had every right to sit in a mother's place beside her. Pearl loved silver fish, but the bones were tiny and sharp. Meanwhile, Aurelia remained chained near the far end of the table. She watched the fish silently for a long time before finally lowering her eyes.
May I have what's left?
Then Lilian slapped her across the face so hard her head snapped sideways. The second slap came even faster.
You dare speak during the family banquet?
Lilian calmly swept the leftovers from several noble plates into a single bowl before forcing Aurelia's face toward it.
Then eat. Isn't that what animals do?
Me to the edge of the cliff.
I'll drag you down to hell with me.
Her eyes burned hatred as she shoved me over. My half-sister and I both chose a shifter mate. In our previous life, she picked first and chose the Hawk clan heir with the perfect looks and powerful family background. She left me the lowly serpent. 3 years into her marriage, the Hawk shifter's mistress and illegitimate son knelt before my sister and humiliated her completely. Meanwhile, I took control of the entire serpent clan and earned my husband's devotion. She pushed me off a cliff out of jealousy. When I opened my eyes, I was back on the day we chose our mates. My sister barely concealed the excitement in her voice as she rushed to wrap her arms around the serpent's tail. I knew then that she had been reborn too. The serpent clan are lustful by nature. I wonder how long she'll last. When Victoria threw her arms around that serpent tail, face flushed with open adoration, even Lady Hargrove went still. Everyone knew the serpent clan was considered the lowest of the shifter races, cold-blooded in every sense. The Hawk clan, by contrast, mated for life. One wife, no exceptions. Loyalty written into their bones. And the Hawk male standing in the room today was the future clan leader. Sharp-eyed, broad-shouldered, the kind of man every woman in the room had been silently hoping to catch. Victoria still wouldn't let go of that tail. Lady Hargrove's expression curdled. She'd brought the serpent here specifically to humiliate me. She hadn't planned on her own daughter falling for it.
Are you sure about this? Mother, he's the only one I'll ever marry.
Even the serpent turned to look at her, his tail coiled hard around her waist, pulling her tight against his chest. That was what a serpent did when he felt something, the beginning of desire. Victoria's face went scarlet, her resolve locked into place. Lady Hargrove pressed her lips together and gave in. With that settled, the Hawk male, Adrian Ashford, turned to me. He dipped his head in a slight, unhurried bow.
Then it's you, Miss Alara. I'll send the betrothal gifts tomorrow.
In my past life, it was Victoria who had chosen Adrian. She'd walked into the Ashford estate as its new mistress, draped in the prestige of the most powerful Hawk family in the region. He seemed devoted on the surface, 3 years of polished appearances. Then a woman appeared at the gate with his 10-year-old son. Victoria came apart. She ran home to her mother, dignity in pieces. But Adrian had spent years building his reputation carefully. He brought the woman and boy home under the excuse of a drunken mistake. And to protect the Hawk clan's tradition against taking a second wife, he divorced Victoria outright. Lady Hargrove marched back to the Ashford estate to demand answers. The mistress met them at the door, chin lifted.
I'm Mrs. Ashford now. My son has awakened his abilities. What exactly are you going to do about that? Give it time. I'll be the clan leader's wife, then his mother.
They were thrown out publicly. After that, Victoria unraveled. She sat in the courtyard every day, vacant and muttering. When someone passed close enough, she grabbed their leg with both hands, her face twisting. I'm the clan leader's wife! I am! She never came back from it. My serpent husband, by contrast, had been born into nothing, but he dismissed every one of his kept women. He trained relentlessly and built his clan up from scraps. People said I'd made the better choice after all. Even Lady Hargrove, who had never bothered to hide her contempt for me, started showing up at my door with smiles she didn't mean, asking me to visit. Then, Victoria had one of her lucid moments. She lured me to the edge of the cliff.
I'll drag you down to hell with me.
Her eyes burned hatred as she shoved me over. Now she's chosen my husband instead. I wonder if she can handle the serpent's excessive affection. The Ashford betrothal gifts arrived quickly. They filled half the courtyard. Victoria didn't spare a glance for the Serpent clan's meager offering. She sweet-talked Lady Hargrove into patting her trousseau until it groaned. Ivy told me that Victoria and her serpent had been meeting in secret. Someone had spotted them coming out of an alley together, clothes barely clinging to them, her face still flushed. Half the street had seen it. She came to me the same afternoon, brimming.
My fiancé loves me. What does that have to do with you? This is just how he shows his love for me.
And if you say a single word to Mother about any of it, I'll make your life miserable.
I just watched her go. She looked nothing like the girl she used to be. The softness was gone. Whatever innocence had been in her face had been thoroughly used up. On our wedding day, 2 wedding horse carriages left the estate together. Drums, horns, the whole performance. Adrian Ashford sat high on a pale horse in his wedding white, all clean lines and devastating bone structure, looking exactly like someone who knew it. I knew why he'd gone through with this. The matriarch once said to him,
You are the only heir. You must marry a noblewoman to continue the bloodline. That was the only condition for me to inherit the clan leadership.
But his mistress was low-born, ineligible. He needed a proper wife. If she gave him a son first, better. Either way, he didn't lose. I set down my wedding bouquet. 2 familiar figures had appeared at the side of the road. Father! The boy lunged toward Adrian's horse. The word was barely out before a beautiful woman yanked him back and smothered his mouth with her hand.
Forgive us, everyone. My son misses his father. He got confused. He didn't mean anything by it.
Adrian pulled his reins taut. He exhaled once.
Today is my wedding. Can't you keep your child in hand? If he'd startled the horse carriage, I'd have had all your heads. Get them out of here.
The woman's face went white. She bit her lip and stepped back.
I'm so sorry. We're leaving.
I wasn't about to let this dissolve quietly.
Husband, don't be so hard on them. The child didn't mean any harm. And today is a happy occasion. Why not do a good deed? I actually need another servant woman as my side. If she's willing, she could come along with us.
This woman had one obsession, becoming Mrs. Ashford. Now that Adrian had taken a wife, she was already fraying at the edges. One of my people needed barely 3 sentences to maneuver her into showing up here today. If I offered her a door to the estate, she'd walk through it without thinking. She hesitated for half a breath, then looked away from Adrian's sharp, warning stare.
Thank you, ma'am.
The carriage rolled on. She followed behind, boy in hand. The crowd murmured approvingly along the route.
The new Mrs. Ashford is something else. Even after that scene, she finds them a position.
Must run in the family. The Ashfords are good people.
After the ceremony, I sat at my vanity and began fixing my hair. Ivy dismissed the others and shut the door, her face barely holding its composure.
Ma'am, the master just had a servant quietly move that woman and boy into the side courtyard.
I wasn't surprised.
Ma'am, the Hawk clan has rules against taking a second wife. And he's doing this on your wedding night. We could expose him right now. Go back to your family. End this before it starts.
Calm down. I didn't come here to lose to a kept woman.
I had no family worth running back to. No mother, no father who would take my side against the Ashfords. I'd walk through that gate as a piece on someone else's board. If I walked back out, I'd be spit on